Hi, this is Danny. How are you doing? Hope you're feeling well. And this is another deconstruction video in Ableton Live. And this is the new release, which is called Fundamentals. It's the summer season. We're coming to the end of it on Just Underground Recordings. And this is one of the hazard cuts, which have the very distinctive yellow and black label, always designed to be more of a DJ tool than any particular kind of soulful or deep or kind of garage house kind of vibe. So definitely designed to be more tracky. Interestingly, this has been labeled as tech house on TrackSource. I think I'd probably agree, to be honest. And so some people might be a bit surprised at what I'm coming up with here. But if you do take a look at the catalog of things I've released, there is a certain amount of diversity in terms of styles. So very happy to be doing something different. I always like to twist things up a bit. So I'm going to get it running and I'll do some commentary as we go through. First thing to mention is that this is the pre-master and it was mastered by Stuart Kettridge of SE Studios. Once again, did a fantastic job. And this has no master processing, therefore. The only thing that I've got on here is an interesting thing that I added towards the end, which is literally a very slight amount of filter modulation running over the whole mix. You can see that here. And I liked the movement that created. And then the other thing is my SSL G Series BX console here, which is being fed by all of the individual tracks for some analog style summing. So you can hear what's happening. It's a DJ style track. There are beats that are coming in. Let me just show you the programming of the basic kind of beat that we see. Let's come back a bit. Let's find the MIDI notes so you can see that here. I'll fold this so it's clearer. You can see that there is a tom that's not actually being played at the moment, that's being muted. And then that will get activated on the next section. So you see that here. And what I'll do is I'll just isolate these elements. In fact, I'll put it from here. Let's bring up the beats. And there's literally solo, but there's nothing else going on, as you can see. Let's open up the mixer and let's have a look. Here's kick, hat, snare, another hat. The toms are actually separated out. And the other thing is there is some processing on here, so you can see the SP950 being used on these toms. This plugin is being used to give it that grainy kind of texture. I'll take it off. There's a certain amount of graininess in the actual sounds anyway. And actually, looking at this, let me just see if I've applied this individually. Yeah, so look, you've got these individually instead of being actually over all of the mix of those toms. So that's why you could still hear some graininess there. Why don't I just take all of these off so you can really hear that. There we go. So I like this kind of like SP1200 kind of vibe. As you know, you've seen and heard it on many of my productions. There we go. So I liked the texture that brought through. And these sounds are coming from Wave Alchemy. You've seen me talking about Drumvolution recently. I do love that library. The other samples were from my own library, personal sounds that I built up over the years. So they're there. And what I've got, just going to take this away. Let's just take a look at the structure. There's an effect coming in there. And this is from a sample pack that I bought. Can't remember who it was. Some of you guys might recognize the naming. And what's happening with that is there's a ton of kind of space around that. And that's the Eventide Black Hole, which is my favorite kind of big space reverb. This has got a new texture that's coming in. You can hear that. There's an audio loop. And this is being processed with some sidechain compression on that kick to create the pulsing energy. Also, it's very thinned out here. That's what it was before. So really, it's just being used as a tops loop to add extra dimension. And we're coming up to the first breakdown. It's a very quick one, but it has the vocal hook of the track, which is, yeah, the track name is Fundamentals, but it's, let me just shut up for the moment. In fact, look, let me just come in. So here is a sound from a Hollywood sound effects library, which is an Amtrak train. EQ here. And this, by the way, has a send effect onto a reverb. And that's the Echo Boy down here. So that's the Sound Toys, which is a fantastic delay. So that's being used to create the sense of the space there. And there's a Snare Fill. And this is a dedicated separate instance of Simpler. And this has got the RX 950 to degrade the audio again. Some EQ to thin it out, a touch on the bottom end. Auto pan, because I didn't want it to be static. I didn't want this to be dead down the center for the Snare Fill. Because the programming is very simple. I think it's just straight 16s, so nothing dramatic there at all. So the movement is coming from the auto pan here. Okay, so that creates a left and right movement. There is also a bit of black hole here, so some space. Let's have a listen to that in isolation. That doesn't sound right to me. I think something is missing. Let me just take a look at this. Yeah, look, the automation is not being applied. Let me just take a look here. Automation mode. I just need to flip this out, don't I? Just need to turn it on. There we go. Let's have a listen to that again. So you can see here the RX 950 filter opening. Space from the black hole after. So that's really nice in building up the energy. So when the train comes in,
what are the fundamentals of house?
Okay, so that was the vocal hook, which is where the title of the track comes from. Some interesting EQ here. I wanted to kind of bring out certain frequencies you can see here. I'm running it through Ableton Live's flanger to create a sense of space. Glue compressor just to level things out. The SP 950 being used to degrade the audio again. Black hole. All right, so here we go.
What are the fundamentals of house?
And actually you can see the automation over here of the Echo Boy towards the end, which creates that really nice echoing tail that goes over here.
House.
So by the way, this is available as a pre-order right now on Traxsource, but it comes out as a proper release on Friday. So that's the 9th. Actually, no, it's the 11th. What am I doing with my dates? Yeah, 11th of September. So let's take a look at what we've got going on here. There's some new additions. There's a vocal, which is triggered. Some vocal kind of shouts. This is from a kit, an Ableton kit called Megavox kit. So you can hear this hey vocal chant being triggered. That's being increased in volume over time. A couple of other elements there. And the other thing we've got is this bell. And this is a piece of audio kind of percussion, which is being degraded. We've got the auto pan to create the movement, then it's going through an echo and some EQ as well. And do you know what? I can't remember how I did this. I'm pretty sure it was a percussive loop that I then applied some pitch modulation to create that kind of rising pitch on there. But for some reason it's not here. I think maybe what I did was actually froze that and that's why it's not there. I just can't remember. It was a while ago that I made the track, so I can't remember. Okay.
What are the fundamentals of house?
And what this is doing in the structure is essentially kind of almost building up layer by layer. There's not really a chorus or anything like that, but we do have a new element coming in now, which is a vocal. And these vocals were from Loop Masters, one of their sample packs that I bought. So you can hear the jack, move it back, hook, filter from the Filter Freak, which is a Sound Toys plugin. That's here. Cut-off frequency being modulated up and down over time. What it does is it allows the other elements to have more space. So if you're rolling off the highs, then the others get more presence, and it creates a sense of movement, you know. A little kind of noise effect that you just heard there, just to get some kind of space. Those kind of things definitely work well in the bigger clubs, like kind of warehousey kind of clubs. Snare fill here. And really what I did there was just to drop out the kick. You can see that's removed over here on the drum programming. A new element is rim shot. So it's just a single little sample here, and running through some other processes, again very similar to some of the others. So a breakdown, okay, nothing too dramatic, just to give people a bit of a breather from the kind of relentless beats that have been going on so far.
What are the fundamentals of house?
Such a simple track ultimately, but actually simple tracks work very well in big clubs. Just a shame that we're not really able to go to the big clubs at the moment. So kind of mistimed again, but you know, I have to stick to my goal, which was to, you know, with the label, release 5 tracks per season. And actually, interestingly, because I don't think that's the most effective way to do it, the spacing of the releases is a little bit too close. I'm going to move towards a slightly different model where I'm going to have just 4 releases in each season. But each season is pretty much running for 3 months, okay? So 4 releases across 3 months. So that's it. It's a track called Fundamentals. It's Danny J. Lewis is the artist name, of course. On Just Underground Records, and it's up as a Traxsource pre-order exclusive. And then it will get released onto streaming platforms with a radio edit, as well as the extended version. And that will be in a couple of weeks' time, after the 11th of September. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you do have any questions, and if I have time, I'll try and get back to you. Okay, cool. Stay safe.